Did you know that most entrepreneurs are only a few small tweaks away from significantly increasing their profits? If you're like, why am I not making enough money yet? Why have I not landed, my first client? Or why have I've got one, but why have I not landed more? Why am I not getting consistent clients? And if you're feeling like you're not earning enough per client, this is for you. So today I'm going to cover 3 hidden barriers to profit that could potentially be holding you back. Let's get into it. Something you may have heard before is that the key to success is really 80% mindset and 20% skill. So this is a really great example of that, okay? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is self-worth. The number 1 hidden barrier is self-worth. It's your own feeling of worthiness as a human being, first and foremost. Your worthiness of receiving money, how you feel about yourself being good enough. If you want to increase your income, you need to think of it as kind of like building a house, and you need to set a really solid foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation of your house, like your house is going to suck. It's going to fall down. Okay. That's why most entrepreneurs are not making the amount of money that they want to make. Let's draw this on my famous whiteboard here. Here's your house. Here's the money that you want to be making. So the first one down here is self-worth, okay? I can tell you in my own experience, I've done a lot of work on myself as a human in the past 2.5 years on my self-worth. I didn't realize that I had a deficit in that department until I got to the point where I had to leave a very toxic and abusive marriage and then start doing all of the work to heal after that. I realized wow, I allowed myself to be in that marriage because I had a self-worth deficit that I wasn't even aware of. So if worthiness is something that you struggle with, first of all, you might not even be aware. Like me, I was completely unaware. I had always thought of myself as a very confident person and with high self-esteem, but a person with really high self-esteem and self-respect and who really knows their worth doesn't allow themselves to be in an abusive relationship, period. Something I learned from the book, The 4 Agreements, is that this is what really anchored it in for me. The author, Miguel Ruiz, said, nobody has ever abused you more than you've abused yourself. So when I read that in my healing journey after rebuilding myself, rebuilding my confidence and my self-esteem after leaving an abusive marriage, I was like, wow, that's really true. And that's when I really started to realize that I did have a worthiness issue. And like I said, I've been working on building my self-worth and my confidence again for the past 2.5 years. And the more worthy I feel, the more my net worth is growing and continues to grow. And so I'm just living proof of that. And I also see this with the clients that I work with. The more that they build their confidence and they really develop that worthiness within them, the more clients they land. There's a direct correlation. It just is. So self-worth, okay? That is number 1. So I'll put a little side note here. You may want to ask yourself, am I in a toxic relationship? Either with another person, it could be your spouse or a partner or whatever, or are you in a toxic work environment? Or are you just really toxic in the way that you talk to yourself? Are you self-degrading and constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough? When you look in the mirror, do you feel look at these bags under my eyes, or look how fat I am? Or if you're constantly bashing yourself, you need to start here, okay? Number 2. Is your value. A lot of beginner entrepreneurs don't understand, and they totally underestimate the value of their experience. Okay, so here's a really good example. In one book, I can't remember which one it was, but I was reading that it was a story about Picasso and how he was at a coffee shop one day doodling on a napkin, and a woman came up to him and said, "Hey, can I have that napkin? I love your drawing." And he was like, "Sure, that'll be $20,000. And she was like, $20,000? You just you just sketched that in like 5 minutes. And he's like, yeah, it took me 65 years to learn how to draw like this. Or I don't know if that's the right amount of years, but the point is he knew his worth. He understood his self-worth, and he understood the value of his experience. The reason why he could draw something super cool in 5 minutes was because he had been practicing his art for many, many years, which is why he was confident to put a $20,000 price tag to his napkin drawing. Okay. Here's another example. I had a friend call me and say, hey, I have an idea. I know what I want to do. I feel like I know what my purpose is. I want to help people do this. I'm not going to get into the details, but she just said, I know I can help people do this. I just have no idea how to turn that into a business. And I was like, oh, easy. I'm like, are you ready to take notes? I'll tell you in like 10 minutes. And she's like, yeah, that's why I called you. So I'm like, okay, you're going to do boom, 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 boom. And I just laid it out for her. I gave her action steps, like very clearly. Here's the 3 things that you can do this week. And then when you're done with that, come back and tell me, and I'll tell you your next steps. And she was like, awesome, thanks. Okay. So after I got off that call, I thought, wow, like what was the value of that 10 minutes? That took me, for me to be able to tell her very clearly in 10 minutes or less, 3 simple things that she could do right away after getting off the phone with me. That was 25 years of experience and probably $20,000 that I've invested in myself to be able to come to the point where I can very clearly say, yeah, this, and this. So what was the value of that 10 minutes? You know, $20,000? It's almost like it's priceless. You can't put a price tag on it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge my friend $20,000 to talk to me for 10 minutes. She's my friend. But it really actually built my confidence in like, wow, like my knowledge is incredibly valuable because I have spent more than half of my life studying this stuff. Okay. The key point here is your experience. Okay. How many years of experience do you have in whatever you're selling, whatever your industry is? All right. And the third thing is the belief in your product. If you're not making as much money as you want to be making, if you have your self-worth in check, if you know the value and you know how to set your prices right, you need to have the belief that whatever you're selling, your product or your service is amazing. Like you need to be in love with your product. You need to be so confident. So imagine a toddler who's learning how to walk, like a 1-year-old, and they're like, ah. You can very confidently grab their hand and you know that you can help them walk, right? Like you have no confidence issues there. You have no issue being like, hey, little Joey, let me help you. Let me hold your hand. And like, you're very confident to do that, right? Okay. Well, you can be confident in selling your product or your service when you view the client, your ideal customer, as like a toddler. Like they're struggling to walk and you know that you can easily hold their hand. That's when you know that you have an excellent product that people will pay you whatever your value is. So you need to have belief that your product is the best, okay? Best product or service, okay? If you feel like, so what's after this? These are the 3 things I'm talking about today. 1, 2, 3. Notice how all of this is mindset, okay? What's up here? Basically up here, this is marketing. And sales. What most people will do is they will think, oh, I need to learn how to do marketing. I need to learn, email funnels. I need to learn what to say. Sales scripts. Okay? So they think they need like all of these marketing and selling strategies, which you do. Like, yes, you need to learn those skills. But again, this is the foundation. This is why I drew it like a house. Like, you need to have your self-worth in check. You need to understand the value of your experience so that you can set correct prices. Okay? You need to believe in your product. You need to know, again, view your clients as like a little toddler learning how to walk. You need to be able to confidently hold their hand. Okay? And then the marketing and sales strategies come after that. But there is no point in creating an email funnel or practicing your sales script or whatever, learning the art of persuasion, if you don't believe that you're worth it. Okay? So you are, in case nobody told you this today, you are enough. You are worthy. Why? Just because you exist. Just because you're here on earth. You are worthy. You have knowledge that other people are willing to pay for. Okay? You are enough and you can do this. You need to start believing in yourself, reflecting on your value, reflecting on the value of your experience, creating an offer that you are so proud of because you know it can help somebody. And then marketing and sales will be easy. Bye.